All right, at this time we'll be acknowledging a number of awards and scholarships, beginning with the one that is most participated in, which is WSMA Solo and Ensemble. Once again, not that something to be taken for granted. Many districts cannot afford to enroll their students in this festival, and they also don't have the resources to teach their students to play for it. Everybody on stage who participated in solo and ensemble, I would like you to stand up at this time. Everyone who made it on to state solo and ensemble, please remain standing. That includes winds and percussion. You guys were looking at me with question eyes. Okay. So these are the ones who made it onto our state level of solo and ensemble. Out of those who go on to state, they're eligible to get something called an Exemplary Soloist Award. It's a very small fraction of students in the state receive this. It means that not only do they get basically a perfect score, but it means that something that the judge heard in them exemplifies really great musicianship in a young person. So if you have ever received an Exemplary Soloist Award, I would like you to remain standing. Something else that we have, band has, and so does theater and choir. Orchestra has a lettering system. Basically, if you complete a number of tasks and extra rehearsals, volunteer hours, and other things, if you get up to 500 points, you're eligible for a letter. Your first year, you get the actual letter you can put on the letterman jacket. In subsequent years, you receive a chevron. We will not be handing these out, nor the medals, on stage at this moment, because as you can see, there are a lot of people. There would be a lot of medals to hand out. Please stand up if you got a letter this year or a chevron this year. Something else that's available to students is to audition for an honors band or orchestra. So, if any of you have ever participated in the WSMA Honors Orchestra or Band, please stand up. These young people that you see standing, they have to go through a rigorous audition process where they're asked to play difficult music, different scales, etudes, repertoire. And out of the state, a few are selected and they participate in an intensive camp for high school level, and they end up performing at the Overture Center in Madison. It's a really great experience. I'm hoping that more Wauwatosa students do that. Another round of applause for those who did honors. That brings us to a few awards that are only open to seniors. One of them is the National School Orchestra Award. Each school is only allowed to award one of them to a senior. In past years, we've always given it out, and the person's name goes on a plaque on our wall. What we're looking for the National School Orchestra Association Award is somebody who is an excellent player, who truly stands out as an outstanding musician. I'm very pleased to say this year that Peter Lehman is our recipient of the NSOA Award. Another award that we have is a scholarship that is open to any music student, so it doesn't have to be an orchestra. And last year it wasn't won by an orchestra student, but occasionally we were lucky enough to award it. This is the Tony Geiger Scholarship. He was a veteran and has this award every year, $1,000 for a graduating senior who somehow was involved in music in their high school career and plans to somehow keep music also in their life. Please stand up, Jasmine Kozier. And our last scholarship that we award was created when Mr. Topolovic retired. So this is the Dave Topolovic Award. It is a $500 scholarship that goes to a senior who has participated all 4 years in their orchestra career. I'm happy to say that Libby Peterson is our recipient this year. Before we get to the senior slideshow, which I know is a highlight, I'm basically going to read through some of the favorite orchestra memories of our orchestra seniors. They give me the information on what they're doing next year and what their all-time favorite orchestra memory was ever, and I, in turn, will tell them what my favorite memory is of them from orchestra. Okay? We'll go in alphabetical order. So, Charles, Chuck, I'm going to make you stand up so I can kind of embarrass you. Yep, you're first. Your last name is the first one. Okay. His all-time favorite orchestra memory is learning to play the violin in elementary school. So, my favorite memory, of course, it's hard to pick. There are a lot of memories of these students. My favorite memory is when he kept changing his nickname, going by Charles, Chuck, Charlie, from day to day, and I just did not know what to call him. So that is my favorite memory of Charles. Next, we have Libby Denick. Her favorite orchestra memory is in Canada when the fire alarm went off. This is on a trip to Toronto with the orchestra. The fire alarm went off and Alex Lee showed up in boxers and 2 different shoes. My favorite memory, one of my favorite memories, is her claiming, well, Miss Chang, I forgot my violin because you made me take it home and practice, so how am I supposed to remember? Next, we have Ella Hagopian. Her all-time favorite orchestra memory was accidentally playing with the cello bow for an entire year. Ella plays the viola, and the bows are actually a little different, much heavier, different balance issues, so that was her favorite. One of my favorite memories of Ella is working with her on the technique of vibrato and watching her make a lot of progress on that. Next is Olivia Harris. Her favorite orchestra memory is having Libby Peterson as her stamp partner, aka her stamp partners for life. That's how it was spelled. Okay, and my favorite memory is actually from a written reflection assessment that we did, and she wrote that the 4th movement of Beethoven's Symphony No. 7 was her spirit animal. Next up, we have Rachel Haynes. Her all-time favorite memory was playing, this is a thing you're gonna hear, this is a pretty powerful memory several of them have, was playing pictures at an exhibition at Mr. T's last concert, his retirement concert. Pictures at an exhibition, if you're not familiar, is a very serious work. It's college and professional level repertoire, and they worked incredibly hard to pull off that concert. So that was her favorite memory of orchestra of all time. My favorite memories of Rachel, are her very thoughtful answers on all of her reflections. Rachel uses cursive. Rachel sticks to her guns. She uses beautiful cursive, shows a lot of deep thought, and also I enjoyed working with her on the Bach solo that she chose this year. Next is Chrissy Hembrook. It's sort of nice that their names happen to be close to each other because they are good friends and sand partners. Chrissy's favorite orchestra memory was when Ms. Chang played the harp at a concert of ours. There may be a reprise of this, so maybe she'll get a new favorite memory. One of my favorite memories of Chrissy is her sending me cat pictures when I was gone for maternity leave. They're really adorable. Next we have Bree Horton, and she has a similar favorite memory, was performing pictures at an exhibition at Mr. T's last concert. Again, a tremendous amount of work went into that, and it's something to be really proud of that you guys were able to pull off such difficult work. One of my favorite memories is Bree enthusiastically greeting me from different parts of the school. Just, hi, Miss Chang, hi, Miss Chang. Because you may not realize this, but teachers, sometimes students kind of want to pretend they don't see their teachers when they're not in their normal environs. Miss Chang, what are you doing out of the orchestra room? Miss Chang, why are you on a different floor? What are you doing here? So I've had to explain to them once in a while I'm allowed out of my dungeon lair. But Bree has already accepted this. She would greet me and say hello, and honestly that is one of my favorite memories, is her enthusiastic smiling and waving at me. Next up we have Christian Jackson. His favorite memory is more specific than simply performing pictures at an exhibition. His favorite memory is the very last note. The last movement is called The Great Gates of Kiev, and it's very dramatic, very loud. A lot of excitement goes on, and the last note is this huge ringing sound, and that's his favorite orchestra memory of all time. One of my favorite memories of Christian is him coming into the orchestra room and talking about just music and science and different things. He's very varied interests, so I really enjoyed those conversations. Next up is Jasmine Hosier. She warned me ahead of time that if there are administrators present, this could lead to trouble for me, but I'm still going to read it. Her all-time favorite orchestra memory, sorry, Mr. Clarko, is skipping every school-wide assembly to go sight read music with Miss Chang in the orchestra room. So, it's not actually anything bad, but it does involve skipping the pep assemblies. My favorite memories involved trying to figure out time to practice with Jasmine on her viola, because she's in so many activities, and it would turn to this, what about lunch? B lunch? Before school? After school? I have PLC. When are we gonna meet up? But I really enjoyed those sort of emailed stages trying to figure out when we were gonna practice together, so it was funny. Next up, we have Abby King. Okay. Her favorite memories from elementary school, same as Charles, elementary school, they had to spin their cellos as part of the song, and her cello spun into her stand, and her neighbor's stand, knocking them down. So hers is a story of mayhem, which you may not expect from Abby. One of my favorite memories is Abby's cheering about pieces that she likes, and me reminding her jokingly, remember, orchestra is not fun, we take this very seriously, you can't be happy about the pieces we're choosing. Abby. Next we have Peter Lehman. His favorite memory from orchestra is also playing pictures at an exhibition with Mr. Topolovic. One of my favorite memories of Peter is seeing his kind interactions with younger students and children. For example, at the multicultural fair, kinder concert, pit orchestra, a wide variety of different things where he's just extremely kind to young students and very encouraging to them to keep pursuing their musical goals. Next, we have Morgan McDuffie. Her all-time favorite orchestra memory is sophomore year during the winter concert. There was fake snow falling from the ceiling, and a huge bolt fell from the ceiling and almost hit Lucy, who was sitting next to her. They were laughing so hard they could not play their instruments. My favorite memory involves Morgan insisting that she can read treble clef very well when it's involving vocal music, but her insisting that treble clef just does not work on the viola and that she could not transfer those things. Next we have Ian Newton. So here's another interesting one. His all-time favorite orchestra memory was swearing during a playing assessment and denying that he did, even though it was on camera. My favorite memory is the first time I met him. It was for my interview, and he pretended he did not know what an eighth note was. Next we have Charlene, and her favorite memory also involves a winter concert, but instead of the bolt falling and almost hitting someone, it involves the snow, the fake snow, and the choir holding candles surrounding the auditorium. and that beautiful environment of the winter concert. One of my favorite memories of Charlene is her playing her duet with Brie, and just having a conversation after practicing the violin about testing and college and all these things, and sort of just talking about what's important in life. Not that you shouldn't regard these things, but that there are things beyond just measuring yourself using numbers. Next we have Libby, and she also had something about her stand partner. Her favorite orchestra memory is being stand partners with Olivia Harris, her quote-unquote ride or die. One of my favorite memories is her using extreme slang to answer emails, to the point that I could not figure out what she was writing in these emails. Next we have Alicia Picard, and her favorite memory is also pictures at an exhibition, the last concert with Mr. Topolovic. Also, her other favorite memory involves her first plane ride, which was with our trip to Arizona. I promised her that I would include the picture that this is referring to. It is a very unflattering picture of Ms. Chang, but you will see it during the slideshow. Because she wrote that otherwise she would hunt me down, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. My favorite memory of Alicia was her encouraging me not to fall off of the stage at a concert. Next we have Sam Stacy. His favorite memory also involves the bolt falling and almost hitting, the bolt falling on Lucy's head during the winter concert. My favorite memory of Sam, whether or not he will admit to doing this, is we were working on a piece that was an arrangement of the Nutcracker, and one of my favorite memories is seeing Sam doing ballet to the Nutcracker. Next we have Megan. Her favorite memory is being Alicia's stand partner since middle school, so perhaps they're also stand partners for life. My favorite memory of Megan is when she organized our service projects. We've done Adopt a Family a couple of times. We also collected clothing for veterans. And Megan has poured in a tremendous amount of work into these service projects, and that's my favorite memory of Megan. Okay. All right, at this point, we do have our senior slideshow. Joining us is Mrs. Luedtke, who is our assistant director. She will be conducting for Ashokan Farewell, and I will be accompanying them on this piece.